gang. Hey, nothing but love and respect. You might have some cool fans, but mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together to the grave. It's the game till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip in the hate. We got all the in our veins, man. Me and my fans,
we the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey there, meteorologist Tuttle back with you again. It is a Saturday night here in the big town of Oklahoma City, coming at you live here in Oklahoma as we talk about the severe weather threat as we come into our Sunday late afternoon and evening across parts of Texas and Oklahoma. So you've come to the right place. We're going to detail that outlook for you. Also talk about the storms that are expected as we head into Monday as well. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you like and share this video. Tell your friends and family about AT's weather. All of this is done through organic reach. So if you're not being organic, can't help others. I need you to be organic. That's the best way. You don't want corporations to tell you what you want. You want you to tell you what you want. You want you to tell others what they should want. Don't let the big man tell them. You tell them. All right, so thanks for tuning in tonight. We're going to spend a few minutes here to talk about the weather. So thanks for the stars party, by the way. I see it. You guys throw me some stars on Facebook, so I appreciate you as always. And I see you out there on YouTube. Check in as usual. So as you got the usuals in the house. Jim from Mustang, he must have turned off his ham radio there for a moment to check in. So he said he got about 15 hundredths of rain last night on the east side of town. So good. Thanks for that report, Jim. I appreciate that. We're taking a look at rainfall totals here in just a second. But looks like everything else is up and running, so we shall get on with the program. All right. So first things first, if you haven't noticed, man, it was so nice today. I mean, it's quiet out there now, of course, but by about this time tomorrow, I'm looking due west on my weather cam. We should see lightning in the sky. So we should have some storms coming into the Oklahoma City metro by this point tomorrow with the rainfall buckets starting to accumulate. I'm going to show you that outlook here in just a minute. If you'd like to get a tipless weather station, many of you have, by the way, you can get one here and save a few bucks if you scan that QR code anytime during this broadcast. If you go back and do the replay, you can do it just from your phone. Do it on your computer as well, and that'll save you some money, and you get a nice little easy to install weather station. It is so super easy. You stick it on a pole, and you're good to go. That's it. I mean, you can't get any easier than that, and you turn it on. So there you go. All right, let's get on with the story on the rainfall amount. So we did get a little bit of rainfall last night. I mean, you know, it wasn't enough to really do much good. Probably just give the plants a little bit of a teaser. But we had anywhere from about 1/10 to 2/10 here in central Oklahoma at the most. Also out here in eastern Oklahoma, a little heavier, up to about 3/10, and down here in southwest Oklahoma, parts of that region saw a little over 1/2 inch in some areas. So the models did really good as far as forecasting the amounts of precipitation that was expected in last night's love affair. All right, ooh, let me do something here real quick. I just noticed that I want to make sure it's working. So hold on 2 seconds. Oh, because I think I no, I know what I did. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So we'll do this, do that. Oh, I know. Hold on. It's always something I gotta do. There we go. Gotta get my temperature back up there. It disappeared on me there for a second. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. Let's go to the next graphic, and this is the one you don't want to see. All right, so here's the risk of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center down here in southwest Oklahoma and into northwest Texas. It's a very small area. The marginal risk extends into Oklahoma City and then down south into western Texas. The threats right now that they have highlighted are for wind and hail, and they kind of took out the tornado threat for less than 2% all areas. But I'm going to put it back in. You said, what? Yeah, I'll tell you why here in a second. Meanwhile, we go to the next day for Monday, and that severe weather risk is across the southern third of Oklahoma on into about 2/3 of Texas. And now they don't do the probability for hail and wind and tornadoes this far out, but on the next update coming in for tomorrow morning, they will, and we'll break down that for you as well later on. Okay, so here's a close-up view of that, which does show the slight risk of severe weather here in southwest and western Oklahoma. And again, some of these storms will make their way into central Oklahoma, but they will be weakening, so I do not expect them to be, I don't say very severe. I think they'll be weakening as they come into town. They still might hang on to barely severe criteria, but they should be weakening as they get closer to the I-35 corridor. And you can see on there golf ball size hail, winds up to around 60 to 80 miles per hour. Tornado threat is low for most people with the exception of a couple. Now we head into Monday. That threat continues down into the Red River Valley, on into North Texas. Large hail damaging wind, isolated tornadoes, the typical severe weather threats down there. And it also highlights that area down in southern Oklahoma for Monday evening primarily and a Monday night. Now the storm system is still coming in off the western coastline right here of California. So this moisture here in the water vapor channel is the leading edge of that. And that will be working its way eventually into our state as we head into tomorrow. So it's a fast-moving system, and in that effect that it's bringing in mid-level and upper-level moisture. The actual center of the system won't come across until Monday night. But right now, currently, this little yellow area indicates sinking subsidence dry air, which is why today was just so nice. We're going to be replacing that, though, slowly tomorrow. Now, we do look at the upper levels of the atmosphere and the jet stream pattern. We take a look at the 500 millibar with the upper level disturbances, and it's going to show us this little batch of energy, this little colors right here represents what's coming our way into tomorrow. This is what we call very subtle. In other words, very subtle lift is coming into play. And most of our lift, instead of it being more at 15,000 feet, we're more like around 8,000 feet, and I'll show you that here as well. But regardless, that lift, just general squeezing of the moisture in the atmosphere will continue as this trough axis, which extends kind of in a northeast-southwest fashion, continues to move through. This is Monday afternoon, so this trough still has to come through, and once it does, that shuts down the precipitation. So until the trough makes its way all the way through, which looks like it won't be until about midnight there on Monday, moving through central Oklahoma, then out of here and pressing off to the southeast. And that's when our precipitation, of course, is long gone. Some more inclement weather with this big monster up here across the northern plains and the Great Lakes. Probably even, there might be some severe weather here with a nice little divergent flow, but won't focus on that for right now. Let's go on into a little lower in the atmosphere. Now the brighter colors equals a stronger lift, so let's take a look what happens as we head into tomorrow afternoon. There we go. Here's 7 o'clock in the evening. Look at this lift right here. This is along a front in dry line combination. So in other words, a very weak, slow-moving cold front does something like this, and it is moving to the south. If I were to draw this for you on a map, and we have our little area of low pressure out here in southwest Oklahoma and northwestern Texas with a little triple point dry line, probably something like this. So this is kind of where we look for storms to develop along this little favored region right here. And so that is why you see that risk from the Storm Prediction Center in that area. Now it really blows up the lift because there's a little convection contamination in the model as storms get going here during the evening hours. But that's still going to be the focus where we do see the showers of storms move on through at midnight, and then there's 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Then by daybreak, they kind of move out. Now you notice there's still some overall broad lift in here for Monday, so that doesn't really change. Gets a little higher along the Red River by late in the day on Monday and a Monday night there in North Texas. And there's a big batch there with some convection thrown in as we head into midnight on Monday night. And that signals the end of the precipitation for central Oklahoma. That activity moves on off to the east. Let's talk about the severe weather threat. Well, we need moisture. And if you remember the other night, it's Friday night, the other night, just 24 hours ago. Man, come on, Aaron, get with it. We didn't have any moisture to talk about. That's why you saw a lot of that virga and a lot of that drier, let's just say sporadic raindrops mixed in with a lot of dust, right? You had a lot of wind in the atmosphere, a lot of turning, and that helped to carry some of that dust long distance from Texas. And so that's why you kind of got a dirty car. All right, but here's a look at how where the deep, juicy moisture is down here along the Gulf of Mexico. These darker blues and the purples, that's what you want to see. If you really want severe weather, you want tornadoes, you got to get this juice up here. Is it going to happen? Let's take a look to see what goes on. Okay, so here's tonight, here's now. Let's get you into tomorrow morning. Where's it coming? Oh, it's still hanging way down south. All right, well, here we go. Making a run for the border. Come on now. Oh, look what's happening. It makes its way northward, but it mixes out. And that's typical. It just means that the moisture is ankle deep. In other words, there's not enough deep moisture in here to really get things crazy. But what you do notice, and these are dew point values in the 50s. Remember, hard to get tornado dew point values in the 50s, but when they get into the 60s, that's a different story. What do you see out here in the western Oklahoma, and this little area right here? You see a little pooling of moisture, which is around that area of low pressure. What is showing up over there? Oh, I know what I got to do. Hold that thought. Be right back. Oh, no, it's working. Yeah, there it is. That's what I thought. Hold on a second. Dun, dun, dun. 2 seconds. So I got you a little sneak preview there. I got to take that back off. Because Wednesday night, I'm having a live interview with Jamie Ferguson. And so that was my little system there kicking in to tell me it's ready to rock and roll with your Facebook comments live. So that's kind of neat. So I had to set it up. I had to build this thing last night. So I'm just kind of give you a little sneak preview of what's going to happen. So as you watch the live broadcast, you can type whatever your comments, and I'll put them up on the screen, and we're going to read them together. And then you can ask any roofing question you want, and we're going to talk about anything and everything you want to know. Dirty secrets, inside, outside, the best kind of materials, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you join me live this Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go back to the map here. Okay, so we got the dew points pooling out here into western Oklahoma. So that is where I think we're going to have a little tornado action. So now you're starting to get why I was kind of bringing this up. Okay, so we go through time. You do see the moisture, it just doesn't really get very deep over Oklahoma. But in Texas, it finally, Monday evening, look at that, goes all the way down to the border. So right here in the Red River. So this is where Monday evening and Monday night, we have a little bit better, as long as the shear is there, which it looks like it will be, we'll have a better opportunity for tornadoes from around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, North Texas, northeastern Texas, as this system moves on through. But you can see the rest of Oklahoma never gets really good, deep moisture. But we do have enough to keep the rain going. And so we kind of luck out. A lot of the state gets the rain without the severe weather, so that's kind of good. Okay, so here's a close-up view of the dew point map. And the reason I want to show that is because I want to show you what happens right here. Let's go to this model here is what I want to show you. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's let this thing load up. All right, so this is that little cluster, 8 o'clock in the evening, where you have these dew point values pool. For example, here's 61 degrees. All right, so this is typical for severe weather season. A lot of times this will happen like in the summer, where you have kind of lower dew points everywhere else. Like these are low 50s here, and then back behind the front up here is in the 40s. So you look for those dew points to pool, and that is where you get your favorable conditions for some monkey business. Okay, so if I were to zoom into that little region, this would be down here in southwest Oklahoma. So this is right around the Hobart area. This is Hollis. So this is kind of in the region where it's most favorable for any type of, like, say, tornadic activity. Kind of in this little sweet spot, kind of right about like in here for a little while tomorrow evening. So late afternoon, evening, so right around, we'll call it 6 to 9 o'clock. It's a short window, and it's probably not even that big. It may be close to like 7 to 8:30, something like that. But I'm going to play a little loose right now. But the reason why we got a good north wind right behind the front, and then we have a southeast wind out ahead of the front. And remember, there's like an area of low pressure somewhere out here in southwest Oklahoma in the little corner, so that kind of helps to keep those winds back. So this is kind of your favored zone for better shear and better moisture pooling. Okay, so that's kind of the close-up view that we're talking about in the areas that we are mentioning. Now, if we take a look at a forecast sounding and the shear in that region, let me just go ahead and show you that. So let's go to 9 o'clock, there's 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So you can see how this is the Kate values they're showing colors. Anything that's colored indicates moisture and instability that's moved into this region. It's not a whole lot, but the shear is off the charts. I mean, look at these winds here are almost 180 degrees from surface to the mid-levels. So what does that look like when you plot a forecast sounding? It looks kind of like this. Okay, so we got the winds that go the westerly in the mid-levels, and they're southwest, and they're south, and they're southeast at the surface. And so it gives you a really nice looking photograph, which gives you a hazard type of a tornado. And a tornado on the maybe significant side, EF1, maybe EF2, with some large hail to boot, about 2.75 inches in the analogs. So this is why I think we'll probably see a tornado tomorrow, late afternoon, or rather early evening, I should say, in southwest Oklahoma. Now, I was able to find a higher resolution model that hinted not only at that, but probably maybe in two areas. They're both favored along that area of the moisture that we talked about. So this is where the model shows you a little bit of a helicity track. So it's got that little spot I highlighted right here. This little helicity track indicates rotation of the storm, enough for some damaging hail, large winds, and yes, potential tornado. It also has one up here. So this is a little interesting, a little back more north. It's got one in here in northwestern Texas. So there's 3 potential tornadoes. In other words, the model's indicating as long as they form in that little area and everything else is just right. So this is how it breaks down for you on the timing of this precipitation. So let's go ahead and kick that into gear for you. All right, so here we go. So there's the storm. So there's 5 o'clock, for example. And there's 6 o'clock just near the Elk City region, blowing up around 7. So that's why I was saying kind of 6 to 9 is a pretty good estimation for time. There's 8 o'clock and there's 9. So now each model is going to have a slightly different look to the radar output. But the take home is I think we'll have a couple supercells early on, and then it'll kind of fall apart and just kind of be this cluster of just heavier thunderstorms that move into Oklahoma City. But for example, here's 9 o'clock and then here's 10 o'clock. So you see these are moving into the western sides of the metro, but they are weakening with time. And then we have other showers and storms that kind of develop all over the place here as that cold front starts to help to generate more of those storms at midnight. There's heavier storms in there in southern Oklahoma. Again, heavier storms now moving into central Oklahoma. They probably won't be severe, though. They will be kind of on the marginal side, in other words, borderline. Otherwise, just heavy rainfall. I mean, some really good rain has been coming down with this. So there's 6 o'clock in the morning. This first wave's still going. There's 8 o'clock on Monday morning, so wet for your drive time commute. And then that's kind of winds down a little bit, for at least a couple hours. Then Monday afternoon kicks in. Look at this. We got more shower storms that bubble up here along the I-44 corridor and then down to southern Oklahoma. And here is a look like 9 o'clock as heavier storms work through. Maybe it's a QLCS type tornado event. We'll have to see how that linear line develops. But the forecast sounding in there has some great turning with height with shear. It's got good helicity values. So I think we're going to be good there. Photograph. Not bad, pretty decent. So possible hazard type is a tornado with a classic supercell with an EF1, maybe EF2 structure. But that's more of a supercellular type event. QLCS type tornadoes are typically about an EF1 or EF0. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on Monday so we can detail that for you a little bit later. But what is interesting is here through Monday morning, models are hinting at quite a bit of rainfall. About 2 inches of rainfall is possible, and the models will try to pick out, where these heavier pockets will be. This one here for Oklahoma City, for example, on the west side of town, it's got almost 3 inches. Same thing for Tulsa. There's 2.5 to maybe almost 3 inches of rain. So there might be some brief flash flooding in either city or surrounding in central and northeast Oklahoma where those heavy rainfall continues. And I'm going to go forward into and count Monday. So let's go ahead and throw in Monday's action. So let's see. Let's go to 60 hours. All right, so 60 hours out. So this is kind of an example of how the models kind of continue to add to it. So it still likes that about 3-inch total out here, close to it, in like El Reno and Canadian County, even up toward Tulsa as well, and could even be here in central Oklahoma City. Same thing down here toward Lawton. There's some heavy stuff down here along the Red River, so possibly some brief flash flooding in that area. And this just based off that high resolution NAM model. So we shall see what happens, but it does look pretty wet. All right, now we top at this as well. I know you're wanting to plant, and we put our plants out. We had them in the garage, for the winter time, and we said, screw it. Let's get them out in the sun. Give them a little drink of rain. So we did that. Now this is the date of the last freeze. All right, this is the average. If you notice, a lot of this is around the first week of April. Some of it's the end of March. Some of it's into the second week of April. Freezes will go. And of course, the Panhandle, you could have a freeze almost at the end of April. But for the rest of the body of the state, we're looking about the end of the first week for April. Question is, are we going to have a freeze and or a frost for the first week of April? The answer is yes, of course. So you're going to have to bring those plants back in, or at least protect them. So Friday morning it'll be a little chilly. So here's Friday morning. We got some 40s. There are some 30s. So if the winds lighten up enough, we might get a little patchy frost out there. So you might have to protect them on Friday morning. But then on Saturday morning, as the center of the high really moves overhead from Kansas, you do see some upper 20s in parts of the state. This blue area is the freezing line that sneaks all the way down here to Oklahoma City and even the eastern sides of Oklahoma. So this is where you're going to have a lot of the drainage, low-lying valley areas that typically get a freeze. Those will happen with light winds, clear skies. So again, your vegetation might be in jeopardy there. And just when you think, okay, that's going to be it, right? Now this is just one model, but you know it's all we have to go on right now and this far out. They do indicate possibly another freeze around, I believe, was it the 16th? So there's the 16th, 40s, and there's some 30s in the Panhandle, and then, okay, here's the 17th, more 30s, and then up here in the northwest Oklahoma, there's a touch of some light freeze. So, but that's kind of jives with the outlook that we talked about for April. So you might have a little patchy frost elsewhere. So we're probably going to have at least one more freeze, and then some patchy frost toward the middle of April. So just both of those times you'll have to protect your tender vegetation, but that's about it. Now if we do look at temperatures here on the average for Oklahoma City, for example, it'll be a little bit cooler in the rain for Monday, but hey, tomorrow looks, yeah. I was like, what day is today? Tomorrow's Sunday. Tomorrow looks great, 79. And then as we head into the rest of the period, it's a little cooler for the afternoons because there will be a cold front that comes in. Overnight lows, though, get pretty cold here, as we said, for Friday and Saturday morning, and then we're back into the 70s after that. Overnight lows back in the 50s, so it's just a little brief shocker right here, and then after that, we're good to go again. So there you go. All right, that was a little long, but I did have a lot to discuss, and it is Saturday night, so I mean, what else are you going to do, right? Probably sitting there drinking a cold beverage as we speak, maybe a glass of wine, so I don't blame you. All right, let me go through a couple of your comments, and then I'm going to let you go. First off, thanks again for you guys chatting back and forth. I see a lot of same people that will end up in the same type of conversations when I do these lives, which is kind of neat because it ends up, you guys are building a community, right? And so as you build up a community, you have that family feel. And it's always good to have a family feel when you get together. All right, so let's see here. By the way, thanks for the stars again on Facebook tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate that. James, Bristow's Oklahoma running firefighter is watching. That's good to hear. Man, firefighters, you guys got to give them some love because this time of the year, until we really start to green things up, they can get pretty busy pretty quick with these wildfires. It happens very fast. My buddy Hank, good to see you. You going to be going out in southwest Oklahoma tomorrow? About 7:30? Hint, hint. You can jump on the tornado real quick. By the way, I'll be broadcasting live. It looks like should a tornado happen, which I think we'll get one, possibly two tomorrow in the state in southwest Oklahoma for a short period of time. I don't think they'll last long, but I think that'll happen. All right, let's see what else. Tamara, just giving us a sports update. All right, yes, I do not expect the tornado in the Oklahoma City metro tomorrow, so that is good news for us. But you guys in southwest Oklahoma need to be alert. Hopefully, some of you guys got the no weather radio that I talked about last few lives. I finally set mine up today. It took me probably about 10 minutes because, I'll tell you, you need to be honest with you? I'm going to be honest with you. I turned all the alerts off. And so I had to go in there and it'll tell you in the manual how to do it. But I turned everything off and then went through each of the alerts that was offered, and I only turned on a few of them. So one would be like all the kind of like emergency broadcast type alerts. So I enabled those. So obviously if the world's ending, I'd like to know that. So I can say one last prayer. Say, forgive me. And then off I go. So that one. And then we've got the tornado warnings, obviously. And that's actually by default. You can't turn that one off, which is good. I wondered about that. Like for me, I did turn off the severe thunderstorm warning because in the middle of the night, I really don't need to be woken up for that because I'm probably tired from doing severe weather coverage or something, and I don't plan on being outside during it, so I'm gonna be okay. So, but anyway, I turn most of those off. That way, I'm not alerted to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes across. So that is an option you can do on that weather radio. And if you're wondering which one I'm talking about, so on this broadcast right now, in the description, you can click on that description tab, and in there, toward the bottom, it'll have a link to the store from Amazon store, where you can get the Midland No weather radio I'm talking about. And so I got a program for Oklahoma County, and I've got it just to tell me about tornadoes, and then, like I said, the emergency stuff. And then, I think I put flash flood warning on there as well, because that's pretty life-threatening. So those are my picks as a meteorologist, because otherwise I pretty much know what's happening anyway. So it's, those would be the two that are life jeopardy, really quick if you're asleep at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, right? So that kind of helps you out there. Let's see. So that's just how I set mine up. Let me think what else. Like I said, on Wednesday, make sure you tune in, 8 o'clock. Now, it won't be a weather broadcast. It'll be a live interview with Jamie Ferguson from Ferguson Roof Systems. So they've been my corporate sponsor here for a few years now, and they are awesome. So, greatest guy, super humble and just good, right? I mean, just down the earth, good old boy, and very honest. So I'm looking forward to asking him all kinds of questions about the roofing industry. You guys can shoot all your questions live, and I'll pop them up on the screen. We'll read them together, and then he'll answer as many as we can answer him. Probably about a half hour is for what I kind of figure it'll take. And it'll be learning even for me, because I know some stuff in the roofing industry, but don't know it all. But he does. So make sure you tune in. It'll be on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Those will be the 2 channels I broadcast on. I won't do it on Twitter or Rumble. I just save those for the weather. All right, I think that's it. So we will do a live. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? So Sunday. Where's my... Oh, see, I pressed that Ferguson spotlight thing. Just realized I pressed the wrong tab. How did I do that? I pressed so many buttons on this thing. My brain does 1,000 things at once. Man, I don't know how I'm going to keep this up when I get older. I'm already older, so I don't know how I'm going to keep this up when I get much older. You have no idea the amount of multitasking required to put this thing together, make your head spin. It's making mine spin. But Bill asked about a burn ban. So I tell you what, the rain we're going to get here for Monday is going to help for quite a bit. Northwest Oklahoma, western Oklahoma will always have a problem with burning until everything kind of gets going. And then once it's harvested, it's back to dry again. But I don't know. It's every year. This doesn't really matter. So you're going to have to check your local communities, because I don't keep track of every county and every city about what their policies are. So you got to check with your own local emergency management outfit or the state and see what they've got on there. Just know that it's dry. So for now, but we'll get some more rain here soon. Then I think that's about it for me. Just want to say you guys are awesome. Clint, you're welcome. Stay alert tomorrow. Cindy, do you expect an active tornado season in Oklahoma? I will tell you this. Every year we get tornadoes. Mindy, have I ever had to take shelter while live? No, I haven't, and thank goodness. But I do have a plan. So I have from where my office is, I have a center of the house bathroom. So what I would do is I'd leave here. I'd leave you guys hanging. No offense. Love you and all, but I would like to live through the night. So what I would do is I'd leave here, shut this door, shut the hallway door for the other bedroom. And the reason why is so you don't want anything blowing through into the hallway, right? So it's just prevent debris from flying around. That's your whole goal, is just to have as many walls around you and or doors that makes walls. Anyway, then I get in my bathroom and I shut that door and then get into the bathtub. So I'm right dead center of most of the entire home. So it's a great layout in my case. So I don't have a storm shelter, I just use that. And then If I wanted to, I could grab a mattress real quick or whatever, and I'll have Jody and Larry meet me in there. So we'll all be in there together. So that's kind of how I do it. But yeah, so if I ever have to take shelter, that's my game plan. And I'd probably wait to the very last minute just to, because obviously I'd try to cover it till I couldn't. And then at that point, if I get a direct hit, obviously, well then there will be no more ATs, whether live at that evening or afternoon, because I wouldn't probably have any equipment left to work with. But that's really kind of bad. So we'll just pretend that's never going to happen, and I'll just come right back out, and then we'll just continue on with the show. So I'll probably leave my mic on, so you can hear me. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I hadn't really thought that through. It's one of those deals where the show must go on, right? Until it's your own life in danger, and then you got to stop. Let's see. That's a good question, though. Sherry's late to the party. You've missed it all, girl. You're going to have to watch the replay because we're wrapping it up. You're welcome, Tamara. So thanks for watching, guys, and chiming in, leaving your comments, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for tonight, and I do plan on doing live cut-ins tomorrow evening, starting, could be as early as 6:30, kind of a deal, through probably about 8:30 is my guess. That's a 2-hour window off and on. That's where I see the best potential for tornadoes, in that 2-hour slot, and then I kind of graced it from 6 to 9 to kind of give it the extra hour. But that's kind of how I look at it, probably for a couple of tornadoes here in the state, southwest, western Oklahoma, and then we'll kind of see how that goes. But I don't expect them to hold together or move into central Oklahoma. We'll still get the storms, but they should not be as severe, because we'll lose the daytime heating, and we're still not quite up there on the juice. So we have a lot of things that will work against a storm. All right, what's that stupid thing coming back on again for? No? What's that for? I don't know what this white box is for. I can't get rid of that thing. I don't know. There it goes. It went away. I don't know what that thing is. I gotta find that out. All right. So I gotta get out of here. I'm rambling on now. You guys have a great night, and sleep well. And thanks for tuning in. And we will see you, unfortunately, probably some of you, tomorrow evening. And then we'll do another update for the forecast regardless, to see how Monday looks. And then we'll cover Monday as well. All right. Good night, everybody. Take care.